Hello, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to you, the great people of the tube. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand, and welcome to another video of how many tones can you get out of one amplifier. I haven't done one of these in a while and I thought it was time to do another one. Today we are doing the Rory Gallagher Irish Tour tone, and Rory is one of my heroes, so this tone I was determined to get it as, you know, like I am all of them, but I was even more determined, being one of my heroes, to get this one absolutely bob on. I don't know what I'm doing. So let's talk about equipment, what Rory used for the Irish Tour in 1974. He had his 61 Fender Strat. I'm replicating that with my 60s reissue Road-worn Fender Strat. Amp-wise, he had a Fender Bassman, which he had just got, I think, around that time. And if you look in the Irish Tour DVD and footage of Irish Tour, it looks very new at that point. So I think he had only just kind of like got that at that point. And he's running that with his favourite amp of all time, the Vox AC30, with a Rangemaster treble booster going through it. And that's it. No pedals. That was it. It was straight into those two amps running together. I think he was going for a treblier sound on the Irish Tour gig because of Lou Martin on the keyboards. I think he was making his guitar sound a bit thinner sounding, so it didn't kind of like, you know, clash with that so much. So yeah, that is literally all he's using. He also had his National Resonator, which he used, his Martin acoustic, his white Telecaster, and his black Telecaster, which was originally an Esquire that got converted and resprayed black. But you don't see the black one that much, you see the white one more, which has got extremely heavy strings on it and a very, very high action. But saying that, Rory Strat had a high action as well. String gauge, Rory used Fender Rock and Roll strings, which were kind of like gauge 9s. So just give you an idea of that. And plectrum wise, they weren't thick plectrums, they were fairly thin, so you could get like the pinch harmonic-y things. Anyway, I say obviously we're using the beautiful CR120, and this Strat plugs straight in, no effects. So yeah. Oh yeah, and also just quickly before I just finish, like, you know, why I'm doing the Irish Tour sound, not Rory Gallagher in general, like, you know, just like one sound, it's because Rory didn't have technically one sound. He had loads of different sounds throughout his kind of career, from Taste to his first solo album to the Irish Tour to stuff like Stage Struck, Blueprint, everything. And his later on, his live sound, which was like, you know, he switched to Marshalls and Ampeg and Fender and back to Vox and all sorts of stuff. So you can't really kind of like condense him down to one tone. So I thought I might do a few videos on Rory, and the first one I say, you know, it's got to be the iconic Irish Tour tone. So let me show you the settings on the CR120 now. Okay, so settings for this video of a Rory Gallagher Irish Tour tone. Clean channel. I am not using it at all, hence volume on 0. So ignore that section. Moving on to the dirty channel, which is the only channel we will be needing. We have the gain on, like, it's like 5 3/4, it's just below 6. Bass off, middle off. Treble is on 6.5. Volume up all the way, and usual thing of volume, master volume on 2. No reverb. So yeah. So let me show you what this setting sounds like. Okie dokie. So what does it sound like? Well, lack of a better word, as you've seen the dials, very trebly. It's a very shrill, cutting sound. So much so, I am wearing earplugs because it is been right next to the speaker. It is a bit much for me to handle. So this is what it sounds like. Engaging the dirty channel. So as you can hear, it's quite a harsh, I say it's a very cutting sound, and I say it comes back to that thing of, I think because he had Lou Martin on the keyboards, he didn't want to take up like loads of space, because being in taste with a 3-piece, he had a lot of ground to cover, hence the big fat Vox AC30 sound. Switching to that Fender sound, he had a lot more bite. So to play out Rory Gallagher, you've got to dig in really hard and get those pinch harmonics. That sounds really close to me. It's like, even with earplugs in, it sounds really close. Rory would do things that were well ahead of his time, like the volume swells. Also, Rory was later on in his career. Rory used out of phase position 2 pretty much like all the time. But in the Irish Tour days, I don't think he had a 5-way selector at that point, so I think he's still having a 3-way. But what he did was, that tone was never used on his Strat. He had that tone widened as a master tone over all pickups. And I have to go into out of phase to get it, because I ain't got my guitar wired the way he did. But he would do those things. Kind of pseudo-wah kind of thing. You know, and he would have to also do those kind of, because he broke his tremolo arm off, he had to kind of like also do those kind of accommodation. Where he'd grab the string and do that kind of thing as well. Also, tapping as well. He did, you know, tapping. He did do it with his plectrum sometimes as well. But that wasn't really Irish Tour stuff. But anyway, that's a little extra Rory tidbit, if you will. Yeah, I wonder who. say, on this sound, the amp cleans up really very clean. That's your neck pickup. To me, it sounds really super close, and with earplugs, it makes it a lot more pleasant to play. On a low volume, it would make it a lot more pleasant to play, but loud and next to your ear, it is very shrill. And I mean, you can tell it's shrill from the recordings as well. It's a very, very bright cutting sound he had at that gig. But it is a very, very cool sound at the same time. It may be nasty, but it's very, very cool and very iconic to Rory. Because the Irish Tour live album was a big seller for him, and they're still re-releasing it now, so, you know, really, really cool. Hope you enjoyed this video on the Rory Gallagher Irish Tour tone. Another tone for the CL120 there. I think that's 9? 8? I don't know. I've lost count. Anyway, hope to see you again very, 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 very soon. Yeah, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I will see you again. Goodbye now.